Hello, my fellow autistics and mylistic allies. So, this next video is something I wanted to talk about for a while. It's going to be a list. It's going to be 2 mini lists. So, 4 positives and 4 negatives of being autistic. I love being autistic. I'm not going to lie about that. It makes me unique. It makes me different. It makes me me. But I'm also not going to lie and say that there are not days where I'm like, oh my god, I wish I was neurotypical. They're not every single day, but I do have my days where I'm just like, if I was neurotypical, I'd be able to understand the social code better. I'd be able to fit in more. I would have less issue with sensory things. And all right, so this is going to be 4 positives and 4 negatives. So positive 1, my patternistic brain. That's what I call it, at least. I'm not a visual thinker, obviously, but I think in what I like to call, I think in words. So I'm a word thinker. So what that means is if I'm talking to someone, I will randomly find connections between words, or I will find just random things that people often wouldn't think of. And it's fun for me to do that. So I'll sit there and just I'll be talking to someone and I'll point it out and they're like, oh my god, I would have never gone there. So that's positive number 1. Positive number 2, my special interests. If you are autistic, you know what it's like to have special interests. You know how amazing it is to get that hyper-focused and to be able to be sitting there and just absorbed in your special interest, and you're kind of stimming and I'm sorry, I got all ironically enough, for the past 5 months or something, or 6 months or so, my special interest has been autism. So go figure. The difference in our neurology that brings about special interest has been my special interest. Ha ha ha, go figure. Okay, so that's positive number 2, how utterly just hyper-focused we can get on our favorite things and just the things that really catch our interest and our attention, and we can kind of sit there and get absorbed, and for some people, it becomes useful. So the people that are interested in language become linguistics, or linguists, wrong word. They become linguists, or they become, for example, the people that are really into literature become literature professors or English professors or whatever you want to call it. The people that are into tech, like me, might go on to do technical things. So they might be a software developer, a hardware developer. They might work in tech retail. So and even for those of us that don't make a career out of our special interests, it's still a huge thing. It becomes part of our identity for the foreseeable future, whether it's, because mine range from a month to several years. And so, yeah. Positive number 3. I am able to advocate for a cause that is important, that needs to be heard of more, that needs to be kind of more in the limelight, in the spotlight, whatever you want to call it. There are not enough stories about blind autistic people. I felt so alone when I figured out that I'm on the spectrum, because I am the only person with both visual impairment and ASD that I know of. I'm the only person who, not the only person that I know of, but I'm the only person that I know personally. Myself. I've never met another blind autistic person, and the people that I do know of are they lost their vision later. They lost their vision later in life. Why do I always yawn in these videos? I swear I'm not bored. I don't know, I'm tired. But they lost their vision later in life. They had their autism diagnosis first. They're not I don't know very few, or I don't know any people that are just like me, and so I've always felt alone. So I get to talk about something that's important to me, and that is important to the autistic community, that is important to this world. I get to share my experiences. I get to sit here and I hope more people start watching my videos. I get to kind of explain what it's like to be on the spectrum and add another voice. And positive number 4, I get to what's the word? I'm sorry, I blanked. I get to just be myself and kind of understand the world under its social filters and kind of, what's the word? Like, I get to look past the implications and the whatever. And I am good at picking up on implications, but I get to also look through that and kind of just be able to kind of see the world for what it is as best as I can. And a little side note, it's really fun because I don't take things literally like most, or like some autistics do. But I do, because I do understand like idioms, but I like picturing them in my head for fun, like the literal meanings. That's kind of been a second nature thing for a few months. It's kind of awesome. All right, so negatives. Sensory overload. Jeez, no, it is the worst thing ever. Oh my God. Oh, by the way, side note, I get to be, actually no, I'll talk about that in another video. So like I was saying, sensory overload, it is painful. Mine are mostly auditory. It's so painful. Like, I honestly feel like the pain is in my skull and it's kind of chipping away at me. So ouch. So sensory overload. That's one negative. Negative 2, I have a hard time understanding the social code, what I call the Autistic social code. It's a freaking landmine. You can't talk to certain people because other people are mad, and you can't say this because then it'll get this person mad, but then you don't know if you can say it, but then you say it anyway, and you get people mad, and even when you don't, you get people mad. It's this whole thing. I don't think I'll ever really understand it. So, yeah. All right, so negative number 3, there is a huge stigma with being autistic. And with me, it's been, it's kind of been partially that I'm self-diagnosed, and they're like, you're not autistic, or you don't look autistic, or you don't know if you're autistic yet. And it's partially been, I haven't gotten anything myself, but I'm just terrified of like the whole response to me being autistic. And number 4, it's hard to find someone to care about me because I'm on the spectrum and because I'm blind. I'm not super high support needs, but I do need a little more support than the average person. And so that's the thing, like, it is kind of hard. And so there are days I'm just like, I wish I wasn't on the spectrum, and I wish I wasn't blind. And I mean, they're very rare, sure, but they do exist. I'm a huge believer in the neurodiversity movement, but I also do believe that autism can be a disability, just like blindness. That doesn't mean I hate being autistic. That does not mean I advocate for a cure. I do not. But yeah. All right. I really hope you guys enjoy this, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye!